Suzanne.
Hello.
Paul. Nice to see you.
Yeah.
Hi.
Great to see you. Welcome to the show, Suzanne. Please tell the people a little bit about what it is you do here at AWS.
Hi, AM. Hi, Brian. It's great to be here with you all. Really always love the energy you bring to the table, especially on a Friday. You can always use some of that on a Friday. So I lead the product marketing team for AI and machine learning, or ML. And we focus on really helping all those developers and builders and business leaders out there understand what AWS offers when it comes to AI and machine learning services. Just a topic that's been in the news this last year,
Yeah, I've never heard of Gen AI before, right?
Right?
Yeah. Oh, wait. I got to clear this up. Suzanne, does Gen AI stand for Jennifer AI? Is that what it stands for?
Yeah, totally. Jennifer with a G, yes.
Yes.
It stands for generative AI because this is a kind of machine learning technology that actually creates net new things. It creates text, it creates images, and so it creates those things from scratch because these models have seen and sort of learned from a huge amount of data, and so they can do these remarkable things that are a lot of folks have been able to witness firsthand in this last year, and we're working to make that technology more accessible to more people in all different ways, so they can bring it to their problems and their challenges that they want to solve.
It's interesting, Suzanne. 2023 has been kind of a transformational year for at least public perception of generative AI, because Amazon and other companies, we've been working with AI and ML for a long time,
100%.
way before 2023, right? What's been so unique about this year, though, with generative AI?
A couple things came together, right? For a while, we've been creating compute capacity that's available on demand. We have more and more data that's available, and there's been some step function changes in the technology itself, how these models work, how they learn, how they're trained. And so all of those things coming together has suddenly, coupled with some really easy to use interfaces, has really made folks understand how powerful this is and help them think a little differently about all the things that AI can do. And it's really shown, I think, too, some of the positive capabilities that are out there. If you think about, even having someone to converse with about problems you're thinking about, and it's a whole different way of thinking about technology that I think is really, really cool.
Yeah, I find it to be super interesting. And one of the main facts I find to be super interesting is like a lot of industries are really starting to get into AI and ML. Can you talk a little bit about how like AI and ML is just changing the game across the board, across multiple industries?
Yeah, and we just released Amazon Bedrock, generally available for not even 2 months, month and a half or so. And one of the things that really surprised me is all the different customers across all the different industries that are excited to build with Amazon Bedrock. You've got folks in healthcare who are thinking about how to identify new drugs and look at many more options up front. You've got companies like the PGA Tour using generative AI to analyze the game for people and then actually give them feedback so that they can learn and improve through this application that the PGA Tour is working on. You've got financial services customers, you've got startups, you've got everything you can imagine. Travel companies, looking at Booking.com. They're thinking about how to make, personalized travel itineraries just for you, Brian. They want to help you have that great, remarkable vacation coming up soon. And so all of that's happening, and they're innovating and really transforming their businesses with this new technology. It's really, really cool.
I'm a little upset that it's just for Brian and not.
Oh, that is right.
It's okay.
Reinvent, right? First, we got to do reinvent. Yeah.
I'll take Brian's vacation. I'll go on Brian's vacation.
Yeah, totally.
Speaking of, so reInvent last year actually is what gave us Bedrock in preview, I believe, if I'm remembering correctly. Before we move on to talking about reInvent, which is one of my favorite times of year, Bedrock is giving access to foundational models, right?
Mhm.
Can we talk a little bit, Susanne, about what foundational models are and what's the difference between other types of ML models that might have been?
Yeah, and you can think about the foundational or foundation models. They're basically these really large general purpose models that can do many things. And some of them are generative and some of them are not actually. Some of the most powerful foundation models are powering things like search behind the scenes because they're able to really understand the connections between things. So, instead of just looking at word matching, you want to shoes or whatever, it can actually think about the context within which you're asking that question and you've actually looked at that data up front. So you can get much more personalized, much clearer, better answers as a result. So foundation models are these incredible tools that are general purpose, that do all these useful things. And then through Amazon Bedrock, we're making it really easy to access some of the best out there today, including our own, but also from great partners like Anthropic. We announced a great strategic collaboration with them and back in September as well. And so, customers are able to access these models quickly and get going building applications. And Amazon Bedrock does more than that as well to help them with those applications. But upfront, it's really making sure that they can access the best of these models and really get access to them and move quickly.
Hey, you've made it so easy for people to access that even people who have accessed it don't know it's not called foundational and called it that. It's foundation model.
I don't know. I think the jury's out. It might be a thing about which side of the ocean you're on, or I don't know. I think they're both fine. I think the main part is it's called foundational. I don't want to make a pun about Bedrock, but
right?
Bedrock. I can't help it, but it is that starting point, right? Because it really gets you that out of the box, powerful capability because, these things really are great. But then on top of that, Bedrock helps you do a little bit more. So, if you think about wanting this interaction to really understand you and know you and your business or your organization, you can help customize those models. And so you do that with your data in a couple different ways. And once you do that, the answers you get back from the model are even more relevant, even more specific to you and what you're trying to do. And of course, you have to do that securely so that your data doesn't leak into anyone else's model or leak back into our back end. So that's really, really important. And Amazon Bedrock helps you do that.
Wow. I love it how Amazon Bedrock is super powerful. It can do all these things with AI and just open up a new vision for an application, but yet it's so easy to integrate into a lot of the industries and code. I mean, that's super cool.
You hit the nail on the head, Brian. It really is about making technology that might seem daunting, accessible and easy to use, and doing it safely so that any organization can do this and leverage all the goodness it knows and appreciates from AWS,
Yeah, I'm amazed. It's even turned AM to a film producer now.
That's right.
You built AM, you got to share your application. Come on.
I know. We were going to do this on an episode of Code Corner, but we had some technical difficulties with the stream. So I actually owe everybody an episode of Code Corner. And yeah, we were going to cover.
Come see it.
I had built a fake movie generator basically with Bedrock. And look, I'm not an ML practitioner whatsoever. I'm like a DevOps developer type person, and that is a testament to Bedrock, is that I didn't have to understand anything about ML or AI. All that I had to do was know how to create a prompt, right?
Mm-hmm.
Know how to connect to an API, right? Using one of the AWS SDKs. I was using the Python SDK, right? With Bodo. And that was it. I would just get responses back like that. I would have to tune the prompt. I think I spent a good deal of time, which I believe people have coined the term prompt engineering, right? See, I'm learning these little terms as I go along, and
well, I think what you're pointing at is that there's two things here. One, it is really easy to get started. It is really easy to test and experiment and build intuition around this technology. And on the other hand, there's also a ton of educational content out there. So I don't know if we can drop a link for the people in here, say to our MOOC. looking at deep learning and ML and generative AI that we launched with a bunch of DevRel advocates actually back in the summer. This course has been one of the most popular that we've ever put out there. Folks are so excited to get the knowledge and to learn about generative AI that they're lapping it up and they're using it in their daily practice pretty quickly. So this is an interesting time when, really everyone can become part of the AI practitioner community. You don't have to be a deep machine learning engineer. Obviously, there's a ton of work to be done there, and you'll hear all about it when we talk about Amazon SageMaker. But overall, what we're really doing is expanding, a much wider net here for folks who can get involved.
I love it.
Awesome.
Yeah, I think it's kind of a, getting started with AI ML, if you don't have any background in it, very easy with Bedrock. And then you can move, kind of like how the show's going to be moving today, into deeper and deeper areas down the stack where you have more and more control, where you are doing more and more with ML models directly.
And what you're saying here really reflects how we're thinking about all of these different macro layers connecting to each other, because you got to invest everywhere in the end to really have the ability to create some technology that folks can trust. You got to understand the infrastructure, you've got to understand the tools you need to build, and then you can also bring some of that to bear on cool applications like Amazon Code Whisperer, which we continue to invest in, and we had some great news on that around customization back a couple weeks ago, where you can actually take Amazon Code Whisperer and help it know you and your business, how you do your coding, what best practices you've got. And you can build that right into Amazon Code Whisperer and get going as a company, and know that all your developers are already starting at a baseline that's might take them a few months to get up to speed on if they had to do it through training themselves.
Yeah, for sure.
Cool.
We've got a bunch of questions coming in from chat. I'm seeing stuff about questions about LiDAR processing with drones.
Wow.
Yeah,
that's
there's
that section. I'm not gonna go there.
I was gonna say, maybe we can talk more about that when we get to SageMaker, for example. I know there's some. We've actually talked on air before about. I don't know that it was necessarily drone, but it definitely was like geo-based data that was in SageMaker.
Probably in the context of Amazon SageMaker. Yeah, I mean, the geospatial capabilities are really cool. And if you think about, for example, crisis response situations where everything on the terrain is changing on you, then having the ability to on the fly make predictions about routing, et cetera, that's grounded in actual data from the site. That's really game changing. I mean, you're talking about saving lives right there.
We talked about floodplains. That was what we were talking about. We're on it was geospatial data on SageMaker. You can go find that on the AWS On Air YouTube playlist, actually. So go check that out. I would be remiss, Susanne, if I don't ask you anything about reInvent, and we've got about a minute and a half left. What are your tips for reInvent for anybody who's going for the first time? What do you tell people?
Wow. Don't get overwhelmed. As much as you can. Make sure you prep a little bit, but then also just be open to those conversations that you might have. I think some of the most valuable conversations will be with your peers and other AWS experts on site, and really take the time to leverage that face-to-face, in-person experience. I think there's going to be a ton of sessions on Amazon Bedrock, on Amazon SageMaker, on infrastructure, great customer stories, really inspiring. There's going to be some fun events too. So just really, I would say, go in with an open mind if you're new, and follow the trace, I guess, follow the trail that leads you towards the topics that you're most excited and most interested in. It's going to be a great time. It's going to be a great time.
I always like to tell everyone, drink plenty of water too.
Yes.
And wear sneakers. I would say wear sneakers, right, Brian? Totally.
I was going to say that.
Many miles. Lots of. We always go way past our regular stop count. So.
Yeah, exactly. The hotel looks close, but it's very far away.
All right.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. go ahead.
Yeah, no, I think there's going to be some really good events that are clustered too, so you won't have to hopefully walk too far, Brian. We'll see.
Yeah.
All right.
Unfortunately, we are at time for our segment together, Susanne. I will say before we will be doing this show live from reInvent too, so maybe you can, if you got some time, come stop by and say hi in person. Brian and I both will be there, I believe,
Awesome.
right, Brian?
Yes, I will be there.
Awesome.
So come drop by in the expo hall. Thank you so much for joining us today, Suzanne.
Great
really
to be
appreciate
here.
your time.
Yeah, I can't wait. I can't wait for reInvent. Buckle up. Thanks.
Same. Thanks, Suzanne.
Bye.
Yeah,
Talk soon.
bye.